For those of us that are just joining, you are not missing. I'm just doing a recap. We've not actually started today's work. We'll start very soon. So last week we talked about explain most of those things, the quick access toolbar, what the quick access toolbar is for. Now, I told us that it's a customizable area where you can add the frequently used commands. Then we talked about the tab on the ribbon groups and explain them. So this is the window of the project user interface. So now for today's class, we are starting today's class with setup resources. We are starting today's class with setup resources. So I think this is going to be a practical class. It's going to be a practical class, and I will encourage everyone after this class, practice, get a project management software and practice what we are about to do, or what we're going to be doing from now till the end of this course. Till we are through with this course, we're going to be focusing on the setup resources. Now, in project management terminology, resources are required to carry out the project tasks. In project management terminologies, resources are required to carry out the project tasks. Resources are required to carry out the project tasks. So you need resources, whether in the form of human, there's people, equipment, facilities, funding, or any other except labels required for completion of a project task. So you need this. They are very, very vital. So in project management terminology, when we say resources, we talk about the people, equipment, facilities, funding required for the completion of a project task. So that is when we talk about the resources. Now we also have what we call the optimum resource schedule. Now the optimal resource scheduling is the key to successful project management. And when you talk about the optimum resource scheduling, we are talking about the key to successful project management. Let's look at some resources. Let's talk about look at some resource type. Number one, here we have work resources. Work resources. Now, the work resources, this include the people and equipment to complete the task. The work resources include people and equipment to complete the task or to complete a task. Now, another thing we look at here is the cost resources. The cost resources. Now, the cost resources include the financial cost associated with a task. The financial cost associated with a task, travel expenses, food expenses. Now, let's say, for example, you from the boutique, and the distance from where you live to the boutique where you can get the brand new suit would cost you maybe like the transportation you take would take cost you like 3,000. Take you like 3,000 to get the show. If you calculate the thing of getting that suit, so you go include financial cost and financial cost associated with transportation from where you wear boutique where you have the suit should be included. On that's what you talk about. You talk about financial your resources. That's of course because you needed that suit, you would have taken that extra money to go that far distance to go get the suit. The same thing they are to some of do business. Now when you travel from Lagos, it's okay, I'm going to go buy this, whatever. After those happen, I think about still pay for and what you buy the opportunity, the goods. So okay, so well cost when it comes from management. We also talk about materials. The materials now if you use consumables used as projects as the project proceeds. These include consumables used as the project proceeds. Let's say, for example, now you are doing building construction, building a house, or building bridges. Now, what happens? You buy bags of cement. Now, when you buy bags of cement, these are consumables. As the project proceeds, you are using them. So they are not going to be there as soon as it's time for them, they open the bag, they use them, and it's gone. That's finished. You cannot get them back again. So those are what we mean as material resources. They are consumable resources or consumables used as the project proceeds. As the project moves from one phase to another, you are bound to consume materials. You are bound to use materials. You cannot build a house without saying, okay, I'm not buying any materials, let the house just stand. No, there are materials you need to buy if you want to build a house. There are materials you need to buy to make the house a success. Now, if you want to buy a car, there are things you put in place to buy a car. There are things that you must put in place to buy a car. Now, you don't go to the filling station and tell the fuel attendant, without a car, you just went there yourself and said, please fill my car. Where is the attendant going to fill? Because your car is not there. So these are what we talk about. When you talk about material resources, they are consumables used as the project proceeds. For example, like I just mentioned, the cement, paint being used while painting a wall. These are part of the material resources. They are part of material resources. So let's look at another one here. Let's quickly look at another one. Now, let's take for example also, um, for example, you are building a house, you want to build story buildings. Now, what are the consumable materials you have to use? So can somebody just answer me consumable materials you want to use in building a story building? So let's just, if you have it, you can just type and send emails on your system and I will receive them. So can somebody just think of, let's 10 think of 10 no 50 consumable, okay, can I say 50? Okay, let me say 10 consumable materials or resources, consumable resources you will use when to construct a story building. Can someone just tell us that, please? If you know about that, please just raise up your hand. Okay, now let's continue. If no one wants to tell us that, now let's take a note of crucial differences between people and equipment resources. You have to take note of this. The differences between people and equipment resources. Because if you watch in my former definition, I said resources includes people, equipment, etc. Now, but there are differences between people and equipment. So there are differences between people and equipment. People resources we have limited are. People resources we have limited work hour, say 6, 8 or 12 hours. People resources will have people resources we have limited work hours. Please take note of that. People resources we have limited work hours, say 6 hours, 12 hours, 8 hours, or 12 hours. Now, but equipment resources have different working capacity. When we look at the equipment resources, they have different working capacities. The equipment is used in construction industry or used in one or two constructions. They have different working capacities. They have different working capacities of 2, 8, or 24 hours. They have different working capacities of 2, 8, or 24 hours, 2, 8, or 24 hours, and could have maintenance breakdowns well. So they have maintenance breakdown as well. Now, also take note that it is possible multiple people resources might be using one equipment resource, or one equipment might be accompanying multiple tasks. So it is possible too many persons are using one equipment to accomplish one task, or one equipment is used to accomplish so many tasks. Like in Africa, in this part of the world, we want to achieve great thing with just one thing. One look that you see, there was a day I was traveling and towards the evening, I saw a vehicle, the way it's loaded from Lagos going to Lagos. Oh, wow, this vehicle is so loaded. Now the people just want to make huge amount of money without putting into consideration the capacity of the vehicle. Can that vehicle carry? Sometimes when material vehicle so you say this to carry 10 tons, to carry 20 30 tons, but we this part of the vehicle that is meant to carry 10 tons, people will carry 20 tons, even if all those just want to make money. Oh, let's to carry it. So this usually is from reading this part that vehicle. So, but in construction industry, some people are for that are to more than the people. So end of Christmas. Now you enter so you have some as the person, then the example is okay, let's say John, Kelvin, Edwin, Bolanle, Faith, whatever it is. Now another one is work resource as a job function or group. Now when we talk about the work resource as a job function or group, now we are not talking about the names John, Kelvin, Bolanle, whatever. No, we are not talking of the job function or group. The job function, that's where you have the engineers, the coordinators, the typists. So these are their job functions. The accountant is a job function. So they are job functions when we talk about their job functions or group. Then another one we look at is work resources as an equipment. Work resources as an equipment. Work resources as an equipment. Now, when we talk about work resources as an equipment, we are talking about the equipment. Which equipment? Equipment like lathe machine, drilling machine, earth movers, um, uh, 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 saw what was it, power saws. These are machines, and we have milling machines, milling machines, and to mention but a few, they are so numerous. So when we talk about work resources as an equipment, we are actually talking about these machines. Now in some other field that does not use this heavy machine, now work resource as an equipment, for the mechanic, his tools are his equipment, the spanners, the pliers, they are his equipment. Now for the electrician, the screwdriver, the soldering irons are his equipment. So now for the bricklayers, the the plumb is their equipment, the plumb is their equipment, the things they use are their equipment. So those are what we talk about when we talk work function in the equipment. Now let's quickly move and steps involved. Now the steps involved to work on or to set up resources is what we're going to look at, and then we're going to start it one after the other. So wherever we stop today, we'll continue until we through with this course. First is click the view tab. When you click on the project management 2013 that showed you a screen, it opens the screen. Now from there you click on the view tab. Now from the view tab you click the resource view group, and the resource view group, from there you click the resource sheet, and when you click the resource sheet, click the cell directly below the resource sheet. When you click the cell directly below the resource name heading column, then enter resource as an individual person, job, or job function or group. Now when you do this, I said the first thing you do is you click the view tab. Now the view tab, from the view tab, you click the resource view group, and from there you also click resource sheet. So when you click it, the resource sheet opens for you. Then click the cell directly below the resource name heading column, directly below the resource name heading column. Then you enter resource as an individual person, job function or group. Now by default, the maximum unit field is set to 100%. That is by default. That is by default. So resource maximum capacity or resource mass capacity. Resource mass capacity. Now the resource mass capacity, the mass unit field, this represents the maximum capacity a resource to on assigned task. It is the maximum capacity of a resource to work on assigned tasks. That is when we talk about the maximum unit. Now, 100% stands for 100% of resources working time is available for work on task assigned. The resource is available full time on each work day. If the resource get allocated to tasks or task would require more than his or its work, the resource is over allocated, and MS Project will indicate this in a red format. Now, what do I mean by this? There is a capacity, there's a capacity, a maximum capacity to which everything is done. Everything on every equipment work, every human work. You cannot say, I told you very sad, okay, as a human, you need money to work 24 hours to make money, but you are losing your life, honestly. You are reducing your lifespan, all right? You are using your lifespan, 124 hours, not all because to make money. I think they will use you know that will use the money because when you are there, people use the money. So you have a capacity you can do. This is why in advanced countries, some advanced countries, so they have people go, you just work for hours there, 1 hour, and you know, and go to and you want to work hard, they we like everyone on and so the money can be now, then look so just case like this, so it's so it shows very as a project manager or as someone working on it. When you see that red, you know that oh, over I have over allocated this equipment. So let me reschedule, let me reschedule, let me reduce the load function on it. So that is what project management does for you. But if not with that, all of will allocate over and over and over and over allocate resources to an equipment, and at the end the equipment will not be able to function effectively anymore because it has done more than its capacity. Before you know, the equipment breaks down. Now, if a resources does not represent an individual person, be does not represent an individual person, be it a job function where a group of people with the same skill set can work on the task, we can enter larger mass units to represent the number of people in the group. Let's say 400% would indicate 4 individual persons working full time every day. Now, what we mean by this is if a resources does not represent an individual person job function, where group you have people skill set can work on the same task. You have so many persons, so many skills to work on the same task, then you can enter a larger unit of a larger unit to represent the number of people in the group. Now, work resources as a group. Now, work resources as a group. Now, click on the View tab, Resource View Group, click the resource sheet, and when it opens, you click the cell directly below resource name heading column, just the same way I've explained before. Then you enter resource as group. Here we take an example of engineer. So I'm going to take an example of engineer. So you enter resource as group as engineer. Click the mass units field for the engineer's resources. Then you type or select 400% uh, as the mass, as the maximum it can go. Then you press enter. When you press enter, the screen opens just as the window you are seeing on my screen, and you start your work. Work resource as part-time. Now, scheduling a work resource as part-time. Now, what do? Entering a value less than 100% in mass unit would mean you expect the resource capacity to be lower than a full-time resource capacity. Now, if a full-time is 100%, and you decide to enter, um let's say 50%. Now it means, okay, this capacity is not going to work a full time, it's not going to be a full-time job for these resources. So 50 will mean the individual will work for half the normal full capacity. So the individual will work for half the normal full capacity. Now, if a normal work week is 40 hours, this equals 20-hour capacity. If the normal work week 40 hours that everybody full time. Now, because it is a part time, is a half day work, the person is working half of the normal full capacity, then the person works the person works a total of 20 hours in a week. Now, to do this, click the view tab button, then click the resource group view, the resource view group, view groups, then click the resource sheet. Click the cell directly below resource name heading column and enter resource as an individual or job function, so that you want to enter the resource as an individual or job function. So you get something like this for work resource as part-time. So it gives you a table like this, and you see everything we just explained. So I would love everyone to practice this, get a project management software on your system, practice it, and you will be good. Sorry, our time is almost gone. Now, you have not been given assignment since we start. I want you to know, get a project management software, because my assignment is going to be on project management software, and you're going to do the assignment, then print out the summary and forward to me or submit it at your centers, at your various centers. So you just have to do that. Get the project management project in software, your system, on system. This course just come to class, listen, and you are going to practice. I see you want me to put your managers handling which project, what meal bills. So on the left, in the left side, you come in, join the software and help you very, very well. When you have lay, you don't able to phone, get discipline, guess and know it, because there will be more of the you don't have what now. Even the notice, so don't let you from here next week. So please, sorry for coming late. And for those of us that are not here, tell your friends they should join us next week. This is going to be an interesting class. You're going to enjoy it and you're going to practice it. And when we see, you should be able to tell me, yes, I'm now good in using project management professional softwares. So I'll be glad to hear that from you. Thank you once again, and God bless you. Do have a lovely week. God bless you.